Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Press Playbook, where we bring on a different BAM team member each week to go through some of the rad placements they've been getting for their clients. Today, we have on Torri, who recently got her client a placement at CNBC. Torri, welcome. So happy to have you.
Thanks, Kendall. Happy to be here.
So let's jump in to just talking about you, what you do at BAM, what your role looks like. Let's start there.
Awesome. So I'm an account executive here. I work along the admin and media relations front. So I'm helping with all of the agendas, recaps, news scans, keeping an eye out on the news for newsjacking and rapid response ops. And then also on the media relations front, I'm pitching, drafting the pitches, building out the media lists, and that sort of thing.
You're doing everything.
All the
You're a
things.
woman of many talents.
Thank you. I try.
Yes. Okay, so let's jump into talking about IMPLAN. Why don't you tell us a little bit about them, what they do, what they're building, all that stuff?
Yeah, so IMPLAN has been with BAM for about 2 years now. They're an economic software analysis company. So they use this modeling of input and output where they're able to take whatever is happening for like businesses or at a local level and see how that will impact on a nationwide level, especially just the economy as a whole. So what we tend to do with them is we keep an eye out for things like layoffs or if there's restructuring or if there's a big dip in like consumer spending, for example. We find those inputs, our economists will take those, run an analysis, and they'll be able to see what the local and national economic impact will be.
So they're busy right now too.
Yeah, we've got a lot going on at all times.
Of course. So tell us a little bit before we go into your actual pitch. Tell us a little bit about what you were pitching, the story that they were trying to share. Let's start there, and then I will share your actual pitch.
Cool. So this was actually part two. We had done a pitch that focused on the same topic a few months back, but we had seen some traction growing, so we decided to update it. It was basically focused on the drop in international student enrollment. And we had seen the data from this report. It's the Institute for International Education, I want to say. And they had highlighted that there was a significant drop in international student enrollment, biggest drop since like the pandemic. So we had taken those inputs, we ran them through the IMPLAN analysis, and our economist was able to pull a few stats for us, and they were actually pretty significant. And so that's the pitch that we were able to go out with.
Yeah, so let me pull this up here because I know that they were in here. So walk us through maybe some key points of this pitch, something that you think you and the team did really well here that kind of made this land.
For sure. So, one thing we've noticed with pitches is subject lines. We kind of get straight to the point, but we like to include numbers and impact immediately. That tends to grab the reporter's attention pretty quickly and gives them a very good understanding of what this is going to be. We tend to follow the same format for our pitches too. We don't like to use a lot of fluff. We're mainly like, okay, this is what the pitch is going to be about. We'll give an introduction to the economists that actually ran the analysis and give them a little bit of context into some of the key findings. We'll then highlight like the most impressive findings, I guess you could say, in those bullets so that they're really easy to see, really easy to grab. And then we'll usually just end it off with a call to action. Would you like to meet with them? Here's the full analysis. Would you like to have a conversation? That sort of thing. And then we always like to finish with a little bit about IMPLAN since they are an economic software company. Not too many people really know what that means. So that gives them a little bit more of an understanding to it.
Was this a journalist that you have previously pitched, or was this a new journalist? And if this was a new journalist, how did you guys make sure that this was the right fit for this story?
So this was a return journalist that did express interest in part one of the analysis that we had done. So we were like, okay, she would likely be interested in part two. The great thing about the journalist that we were speaking with is she is very data oriented. So she loves when we're able to give her a story that just has the hard facts, the hard data points. It's usually much easier for her to pitch her editor and get it approved. And this one sort of followed the same format as the first one.
That makes it very easy that you guys know it's working. and you can replicate it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit. Let me stop sharing your screen here with this pitch. Let's go into the impact. I mean, I would assume that these founders were stoked on this placement.
They're always.
Yes. What was the impact for them? What was their reaction? Was this a target outlet that they wanted to go after?
Yeah, so IMPLAN is always very keen on getting into some of those top tier business publications. They do work with some of the more renowned companies, like they work with government agencies, they work with the Big Four, they work with all these institutions. And so kind of keeping their coverage in line with the publications that those people are reading is always like a top priority for us. So the CNBCs, Wall Street Journals, that sort of thing. They were super excited about this piece. At this point, our economists have spoken to this reporter, want to say twice or three times, and she is now sort of started to look to them as sources for things where it relates to economic impact and that sort of thing. But it's also very validating to the economists to see that the work they're putting in is in CNBC, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm putting this on my fridge. My wife was so stoked, those sort of things.
Huge.
So
it's a huge thing. It's very exciting. I would love that.
I was gonna say I would love to be.
I would love to be CNBC. Well, Torri, let's close out this podcast with you giving a piece of advice. So if there is one piece of advice that you could give to founders looking to land press, what would that be?
I think my one piece of advice would be to make the job as easy as possible for the reporter. I've heard time and time again that reporters are inundated with pitches, hundreds, thousands a week. So their inbox is full. The easiest way to get a response is to give them what they need, make sure that it's within their niche. So do a good amount of research on what they've previously covered, where their focus lies, and give them the complete story. It makes it much easier for them to take it, pitch it to their editor, get that quicker turnaround, and make sure, if you can, offer data or third-party validation, quotes, interviews, that sort of thing. It always makes the process way easier.
Absolutely. I feel like just making everyone's job as simple and as straightforward as possible wins. Always. It always wins. Well, Torri, so happy to have you. So happy to highlight this placement. Loved chatting with you. For everybody watching, we will have a new episode next week. And Torri, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kendall.